Hello, hello. This is Taylor Ursula of That's So Pisces, and it's time to talk about our new moon in Cancer. So, let's do it. This is a new moon in Cancer at 14 degrees, taking place on Friday, July 5th at about 4 p.m. here on the West Coast. Okay, and if you tuned into the Cancer season forecast, we talked about how just a couple days before this new moon, the sun walks into a square to the nodes, as the moon will do as it plays catch up as it meets the sun here in Cancer. So, this week, well, really, as we've kind of acknowledged, this whole season has had a series of squares to the North Node in Aries from Cancer, starting with Mercury right there at the first Capricorn full moon that we had right there at the beginning of Cancer season, followed by Venus that following week, and now the sun, and now the moon will come through too. So, with this new moon square the nodes, there is maybe kind of the moon playing catch up, as I mentioned a moment ago, with these other planets who've been moving through. The moon is our emotions, the moon is how we connect with others, the moon is kind of the nurturance that we need. And so this is seeing us not only kind of emotionally embracing all the changes perhaps we've been putting into motion, if that's what we've been doing, but also doing so self-ruled and being able to internalize those desires and move through them, put them into motion, infuse them into our intentions now for what these changes will bring into our lives moving forward. This square to the nodes is especially potent because the moon enters into Cancer on Thursday, July 4th, and makes no other aspects until it squares the nodes Friday morning before meeting the sun. On the same day that the moon is squaring the north node at 10 degrees, we see Mars, the node's ruler, hanging out in Taurus, making a sextile to Saturn, who is currently retrograde in Pisces at 19 degrees. Mars can see Saturn and can see the moon. It will receive a sextile from the moon shortly after this sextile to Saturn. But Mars cannot see the north node that it's ruling right now. So we have a little bit of kind of a roundabout conversation about what changes we've been making through these squares to the nodes and what that means for the steps we're taking to build those changes into permanence in that sextile between Mars and Saturn. Mars making that sextile to Saturn, Mars from a place of detriment, Saturn from a place of retrograde, maybe shows us what we are kind of taking our time with. Mars moving gradually through Taurus, kind of one foot in front of the other. Saturn showing us what structures we might be pulling apart or reviewing now before we continue planting on top of them, building on top of them. So we've been talking a bit about divesting, right? From that whole Gemini new moon cycle we just moved through. This may be a time where we actually start to feel some steps being laid down. Anything that was not laid down properly before, Mars in Taurus is able to really take its time to undo and to take that time moving forward to lay back down. So there's no rushing at this time as we assess what's happening here. And this is really helping us take our time to build slow, steady steps toward what we're building next. This is also the same day that Venus in Cancer squares Chiron in Aries at 23 degrees. Venus already squared the North Node, as I mentioned, about a week and a half before this new moon, 2 weeks before this new moon. And so there may have been a conversation there or a recognition there about what wounds we have about asking for help or asking to be nourished, where we've been made to feel unsafe in that asking or in that needing. And this might be a moment where that message becomes deepened, or it might be a moment where Venus overcomes that square, finds the courage perhaps to ask for what it needs, or somehow furthers this narrative of exploring what creates conditions of unsafety when it is that we find ourselves in need. This may become woven into what it is we desire to experience here in this place of Cancer, wherever it may be in our charts. This might be something that colors the intentions that we set here in terms of what we want to feel in our connections to others and how we want to be involved in a relationship of care where we are safe to have needs, first and foremost, as well as to want those needs to be met. On Saturday the 6th, we see the moon follow up and make its own call to Saturn, retrograde in Pisces, and this lovely trine helps us really download and understand easily what's needed of us at this time. The moon then sextiles Mars in Taurus, so the moon gets to very easily, right away, in real time, make connections to both Mars and Saturn and get filled in on what that conversation was that they had the day before. The moon then comes in and squares Chiron as well at 23 degrees, so really giving us a chance to maybe communicate what those needs are, or we might be challenged by that ongoing ache of feeling unsafe. But just after this, the moon then makes a conjunction to Venus and perhaps provides a bit of a balm to this experience. We connect with the resources that we need. We connect with the people who are happy and able to respond to the needs that we have. And we bring some sort of closure to this story, which is a nice kind of full picture wrap with a bow for this new moon. The moon then goes on to connect with the outer planets, first having a nice little sextile with Uranus, which may, if we're open to it, if we're paying attention, provide a bit of ingenuity, newness, innovation to perhaps how it is we are going to embrace having needs, how it is we'll go about having those needs met, how it is we might ask for those needs to be met. And then it goes in to make a trine to Neptune, who's retrograde at the very tippy-toe edge of Pisces and the whole zodiac. And so there's a bit of transcendence, perhaps. The moon moving into this trine might feel like there's possibility opening up, like there's a sense of spirituality that we're able to connect with now, especially as we kind of, again, have this nice little bow wrapping up this narrative here. All right. Let's start a brand new lunation cycle. Let's go ahead and pull some cards to see about what cycle is opening up for us at this time. So stay tuned. Okay, let's get started. All right, so we are looking at a cycle that begins for me now, and what has been cleared away to allow for this shift. We are looking at what this new cycle may look like as it unfolds and how I can ground my ideas and intentions now. And we'll take a look at the bottom of the deck to see what stories lie beneath the surface of the waves. Okay. Okay. Okay, starting off with minimal reversals. All right, we'll see where that leads. All right, so who do we have here? The Hierophant reversed. Okay, starting off with more reversed major arcana cards. It's been kind of a cycle for us, hasn't it? We started off the Taurus new moon two new moons ago. We started off with the High Priestess reversed, and with our Gemini new moon, we started off with the Sun reversed. Okay, so we are going through some big themes. Who could imagine that? That is shocking. All right, so more divesting, perhaps. Seeing the Sun reversed was kind of like a, whoa, we're not quite ready to step into our new selves. We're not quite ready to like own everything that we are like kind of ready to, that we feel emerging within us. All right, this feels more on brand with the narrative of divesting that we kind of ended that lunation cycle with. We talked a lot about that at the Capricorn full moon, where we saw the 10 of Pentacles reversed under the deck. And that was kind of us divesting, maybe literally, physically, from some spaces we've been part of, from some relationships we've been part of, from some systems, broader systems we've been part of, networks, okay? This is maybe divesting from something we believe in or have been believing in. What beliefs have you been buying into? All right, that you recognize like are not paying out. There's no return coming back for what you are buying into as a belief. This is giving some like ninth house themes in the sense of kind of practicing what we preach. And that feels really critical for this Cancer new moon, where we are invited to change something about how we express our needs, whether we even express those needs in the first place, which is a very Cancer theme. We may, like if you have placements like planets or like points or, nodes, something, if you've got anything in Cancer, you may be connected to a story, a journey about whether you even ask for those needs to be met, or whether you feel able to speak those needs, whether you're even aware of being entitled to having your needs met, okay? Very Cancer placement stories there. If we think about when we're in the womb, let me take it back, way back. If you think about when we're in the womb, we're not expressing verbally when we're hungry, right? Like we're just there, and some magical signals are happening where we're communicating through our bodies, like we're communicating non-verbally through these bodies that we're growing, and whoever is carrying us gets the memo. Oh, I'm hungry. And that's where some of the Cancer issues start. Before birth, my God. Okay, yes, but like think about it. We are creatures who don't have to ask for anything, and someone else who we are growing inside of takes on the responsibility of that hunger for us. It's not, oh, the baby's hungry, I should probably eat something. It's like, what, the baby's hungry, I'm hungry. We're one and the same, even though we are two entities, right? What happens once we're born? That doesn't work anymore. We can't just telekinetically, we can't just psychically tell people what we need, right? Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way, we find. That has to be communicated somehow. And also, no one else promises to take on the responsibility of our needs the way that they once were taken responsibility for in the past. So, what do we believe in? Fast forwarding to the now. And where is it not supporting our needs? Where is it not supporting our sense of being nurtured? Where does it instill a feeling of unsafety in terms of asking for what we need within this broader system? The Hierophant is always about things outside of us. This is not a Sagittarius sort of ninth house faith card. This is much more like a second house What are the physical connections to my faith? What mentors do I have? Okay, that can be a ninth house theme, I know, but how did I meet them? How did I meet that mentor? Was that someone my parents connected me with because I was born into some sense of faith that I haven't questioned? Or I have questioned, but I maybe have not found my personal niche with? Okay. What have I believed in thus far that doesn't actually serve me? All right. Maybe I was just handed this and I took it, and now I have more agency in my life. So we might be turning inward at this Cancer new moon to think about what that looks like. And let's see what else we have here to tell us more about this story. A cycle that begins for me now. Oh, okay. This is not the droid I'm looking for. All right. This is not it. Fascinating. All right. But definitely makes sense with this Hierophant. Okay. A cycle that begins for us now is a questioning of what is, oh my God, this is so appropriate for this Cancer new moon. What emotions have I experienced in the past that are coloring what I think is in front of me right now? Oh, have you heard me talk about this card? Because I love to talk about this card. It's very Venus and Scorpio, which is what it typically tends to be affiliated with, but holy moly is it appropriate for Cancer season, where I just described how in the past things were just fed to us, right? Baby needs food. Baby needs things. Even as infants, when we are a physical baby outside of the womb, we are like, wah, wah. And somebody just interprets what that means. It's one sound, right? It might come out of a variety of ways, but it is one sound. We don't have words yet. We can't crawl yet. We can't walk yet. We can't go anywhere. We just sit and we cry, and someone, ideally, comes and tends to that. So then how do we grow up and learn agency? How do we learn to vocalize what we need or what we are hungry for? Okay. All of these experiences from the past are going to inform what options we feel are available to us in the present. This feels very Venus in Aries, square Chiron. Chiron in, nope, I did that backwards. Venus in Cancer, square Chiron in Aries. What have I been told about asking to have my needs met? Have I been yelled at? Have I been neglected? Have I been told to figure it out myself? Have I been ignored? Have I been actively harmed for expressing needs? Like, we could run an ACEs test right here, my dudes, if you want, you know? Like, what kind of adversity have I faced, and how has it interfered with my needs being met? How does that color what I think I'm able to ask for now, or what I think is in front of me in terms of an option that I'm able to choose? Okay. So we're going to spend this Cancer season cycle getting clear on whoa. Hold on. First of all, what do I even need? Secondly, what beliefs inform that need? Third, what are my options for meeting that need? 4, what stories inform those options? Wow. Okay. Whew. All right. What has been cleared away to allow for this shift? We talked about this, didn't we? We talked about needing to listen to our truth. That was just within this Gemini new moon cycle. I'm fairly certain that that was like at the full moon. I'm going to have to go back and like review that, but we just talked about this idea of needing to tune inward and like actually listen to this truth. We were neglecting it. We were ignoring it. Same way that we may have had some of our needs neglected and ignored. Okay. We avoided it as much as possible because it was scary. It was stressful. We didn't want to know what it was going to open up. Turns out, once you course correct that journey and you do start to listen and you start to get a sense of what truth needs to be tended to now, there's like more stories beneath that also need our attention, where we go, oh, I wasn't listening to that, and also this other thing has been in here this whole time. Might be overwhelming to think about. I don't want to face that this month, but like it's part of this like reverse major arcana journey that we are apparently on. Honestly, that feels very appropriate for the strength card here, right? our instincts, have all been major arcana moments that have informed what we think is happening in real time. What this new cycle may look like as it unfolds, well, that's lovely. Didn't we end our Gemini new moon whole lunation cycle, right? Again, that Capricorn full moon had us looking at the 10 of Pentacles reversed and divesting from something. And that might have been really scary. We're talking about resources here, right? We're looking at Taurus here. I believe in what I have in front of me right now is what Taurus is about. Mars is there, okay? So I love that this cycle of, oh no, what is for me? What can I have? What am I allowed to have? What does that even look like? Is that an option that I want? Who let these snakes in here? Even though that's a little bit overwhelming, all this questioning we have to do, all this getting to the root of what even informs what I think are my options. Hey, feels connected to a 5 of Pentacles story. The cycle unfolds and we see ourselves connected to our resources, connected to a sense of abundance on our own terms. Okay, if we're divesting from other people's terms and definitions of what things are supposed to be, if we're divesting from structures and what they inform us, our life is supposed to look like, then maybe this Queen of Pentacles journey is us getting a sense of what we want this to look like on our own terms for us now that we're divesting from these other definitions of it. I think that's pretty radical and awesome. I love that for us. I love thinking about us feeling connected to some sense of abundance as defined by ourselves, not by what the past has informed our choices to look like, but what it really does feel like for us. And we've opened this up by getting a sense of what our truth is. So we'll know now when we see and when we feel and when we're connected to what this is, we'll know that that's our own definition of this. We'll feel connected to that. How I can ground my ideas and intentions now. Ooh. Love an ace. Love an ace at the new moon. Okay. Tap into inspiration. Tap into ideas that feel powerful. Tap into passion. This might be turning back to a neglected project that never got to leave the ground. This may be a brand new thing emerging, right? You've opened up the channels to hear, to pay attention, to receive, and therefore there might be something brand new coming in, or it might be, oh, I'm finally ready to receive this idea that's been trying to land. It's been trying to come find me. I've been batting it away. I'm like, there's not time. I don't have the resources. My beliefs don't support that. I can't choose that. That's not for me. Okay. Love this. And this is a way to ground, right? This is a way to take all of this and ground wanting to overhaul these choices. So we're working on this by doing this. We are confronting old beliefs about what we think our options are by tuning into what we want them to look like in this moment, what we want to feel, what we want to be connected to, what we want to express. No need to go anywhere with this. This is not the 2. This is a brand new seed. This is a brand new start. Okay, even if it involves ideas or passions from the past, this is a brand new clean slate on which to write them down, imagine them, envision them, get a sense of what feelings come up when you tap into that. Okay, this is an interesting, fascinating, rather exciting little new moon cycle we have opening up here. Especially, like, it's refreshing after all of the pausing and all of the stopping and the kind of taking things apart brick by brick we've been doing. We're not building anything yet. We're feeling connected to abundance, and that's an important first step before we build anything. We're just getting clear on what wants to be built. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed, please like this video. Please share with someone who's ready to confront these emotional patterns about what is available to them and who's ready to get clear on what passions are driving them currently. And subscribe so we can watch this lunation cycle unfold further and see what that first quarter moon is going to bring us next. So I will see you there.